really important topic if you've got teenagers. We know how self-conscious and shy they can be. Well, those teenagers, they're out there, and teens have a lot of trouble coming out of their shell. So is it just a normal stage of development, or when should you be concerned? To tell us more, Dannielle Miller. Good morning, Dannielle.
Good morning.
It is hard. Is there a particular age, and we're talking both boys and girls, and is it different where teenage shyness, for want of a, not more elaborate word, that it kicks in?
Yeah, absolutely. When we hit adolescence, we do become incredibly self-conscious. We start to realise for the first time that our peer opinion is absolutely critical to us. And it's also, of course, a time when physically we're undergoing enormous changes. For boys, their voices may be breaking. For girls, they're developing, their skin's changing. And all of a sudden, they can feel as if the world is watching them. Remember, too, that when you are an adolescent, you're incredibly emotional. So when a teenager says something like, I feel like I'm going to die, I'm so embarrassed, they almost literally mean that. Their feelings are incredibly heightened.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we can all remember back to teenage years when it would be excruciating for one out-of-context comment to be made when you think it's completely directed at you, when it was sort of just something completely innocuous.
Oh,
but
yeah.
they take it really seriously.
Absolutely, and they dwell on so much. They will dwell on everything that's said, every comment that's made on Facebook. So for some teens, shyness is a real issue, and it's really important that we encourage our young people to develop those social skills, because unfortunately that shyness can be mistaken for things like rudeness or lack of interest. And at school, if you've got a young person who's very shy, then they may not be answering questions in class, they might not be interacting.
Sitting way at the back of the class, being the last to leave, trying to hide in the corner.
Absolutely. I mean, my little girl is actually quite shy, and at her parent-teacher night, nearly every teacher commented on the fact that they'd love her to contribute more in class. It's not that she's not interested, she really is. It's not that she doesn't know the answers, but she feels that everyone will be staring at her, and that makes her feel quite nervous. We've really had to work on that with her.
Okay, before we take it another, because there's just so many shy kids there, social phobia is another large step in front of that. But let's just talk about basic shyness, because do you think boys are worse than girls, or is there a difference?
I think it's really up to the individual child. Many of us will actually overcome that naturally as we develop our sense of self, develop our confidence, find friends that can relate well to us. We'll find our confidence and we'll be able to be more outspoken. But for some, as you said, it can develop into a real social phobia.
So what do we do?
They'll get very anxious.
Yeah, how do we deal with the kids? We've got some help up there, so let's just walk through that.
Look, I think one of the things that's really important is just to tackle shyness in small steps. So it can be something as simple as encouraging your child, okay, you don't have to be really animated at the dinner table, but you do have to at least make an attempt to speak to one person or introduce yourself to one new person. Create opportunities for them also to get an experience at networking. So it might be things like guides or youth groups. Throw them in the deep end a little bit. I mean, it's a guided thing. And also I think it's really important to encourage your child to learn that assertive language, assertive body language, because that can give them at least the appearance of confidence, and then they'll receive some positive feedback, and then that will sort of self-perpetuate.
And preparing for it. When you know they have to go to a function or go somewhere, you have to prepare them with the right look, the right language, the right words, and you've got to rehearse that.
Absolutely. I mean, often young people are asked to do speeches in class. Now, for some young people, that is the cause of huge anxiety, but it's incredibly critical that they do have that experience. So getting them to stand up even at home and go through their speech with you as a family, as the audience, can be one really good step. Encouraging them also to realise that although they feel like everyone's looking and judging them, they aren't. I mean, we've all got other things to do.
Yeah, and that has to be explained.
It does.
But
it does.
It doesn't always sink in.
No, and I think it's difficult for people like, yourself and for me, who are quite confident and outspoken and probably always were, to really empathise. But for some young people, this is really quite debilitating, and we do need to take it seriously and to encourage them and support them to make that transition from little shrinking violet to confident Amazon.
Indeed. Amazon, okay. I still remember, I must have been 8 or 10, at a school function at night, saying to my teacher, night-night, and then going, you can't say night-night to a teacher. It was as if I was saying night-night to Mum and Dad.
Yeah.
I said, no, do you know I'm still living with that a few years later? I'm still mortified by it.
It's actually a sign of affection. When I was teaching, if a student accidentally called me Mum, of course everyone would laugh, but it's a sign of affection that they feel comfortable with
No, I'm
you.
still, we need to talk in this commercial break because I'm still having trouble
Still
dealing
scarred.
with it. Thank you very much, Dannielle Miller.
Thank you.
We've got more coming up, but this could add a little spark to your day.